Classical Music Readers, Level 1. The works of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Copyright 2023. Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Who was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart? Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian composer. He was born on January 27, 1756, in Salzburg, Austria. Mozart wrote over 800 works. His father, Leopold, was also a successful composer and played the violin. Leopold introduced his son to music at a very young age. By 5 years of age, Mozart was already writing music. However, he was so small that he needed his father's help to hold the pencil. In 1762, when Mozart was just 6 years old, he was already able to play many musical instruments. During that same year, Leopold took the young Mozart and his sister on a tour of Europe to play music. 7 years later, in 1769, when Mozart was 13, his father took him to Italy. He wanted to show off his son's musical skills. While he was in Italy, Mozart wrote a successful opera, Mithridate Re di Ponto, 1770. Mozart would come to write many great operas during his life. The family returned to Austria in 1771. At the age of 21, Mozart was tired of living in Salzburg. He set out to find a new job in a new city, but returned to Salzburg in 1779. 2 years later, he had a lucky break. A man from the church where he worked asked him to go to Vienna. Mozart found work in Vienna, teaching, playing, and writing music. By the mid-1780s, Mozart was doing well. He had written several successful works, and he was playing in concerts. At one point, he played in 22 concerts in 5 weeks. During most of these concerts, Mozart played different musical instruments. Mozart was a big fan of Bach and Handel and tried to write pieces similar to their work. Around 1784, Mozart met Joseph Haydn, and they became very good friends. Whenever Haydn visited Vienna, he and Mozart would perform surprise concerts. From 1786 on, Mozart played in fewer concerts and spent more time writing music to earn money. He focused on opera for the next 2 years. During this time, Mozart wrote his famous operas, The Marriage of Figaro, 1786, and Don Giovanni, 1787. Toward the end of his life, Mozart was very busy writing music, but he fell ill in September 1791 and died on December 5th. He was only 35 years old. Eine Kleine Nachtmusik, 1787. In 1787, Mozart finished writing Serenade No. 13, which is also known as Eine Kleine Nachtmusik, or A Little Night Music. This piece of music is a serenade with 4 movements. A serenade is a love song. Usually, a man sings it to a woman. Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik was written for 5 instruments: 2 violins, a viola, a cello, and a double bass. There was a 5th movement, but it was lost. Interestingly, Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik was not published until 40 years after Mozart died. His wife found it among some papers and sold it so that it could be published. Today, Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik is one of Mozart's most popular pieces. Some even say that it is the most popular. The Magic Flute, 1791. Mozart's The Magic Flute was not like other operas. Usually, an opera has only music and singing. The Magic Flute is an opera which has both singing and talking. The first performance of this opera was in 1791, 2 months before Mozart died. Mozart wrote The Magic Flute with his friend, actor Emanuel Schikaneder. Schikaneder wrote the words and Mozart wrote the music. Schikaneder even acted in the opera. He played the part of Papageno, a man who is half man and half bird in the opera. The Magic Flute was a hit straight away. The story of The Magic Flute is about a prince named Tamino. He is lost in a strange land. A big snake tries to catch Tamino, but 3 women who work for the Queen of the Night appear. They help Tamino by killing the snake. The ladies give Tamino a picture of Pamina, the queen's daughter. He falls in love with her and goes to rescue her from a bad man named Sarastro. The 3 women give Prince Tamino a magic flute to help him on his way. Tamino finds out that Sarastro is not really bad. It's the queen who's bad. Sarastro gives the prince some tests so that he can be with Pamina. Tamino uses the magic flute to go through the tests. At the end of the opera, Tamino and Pamina are together in love. Mozart's music lives on today. In the 1970s, a famous play was made about his life. The play was then made into the movie Amadeus in 1984. Mozart's music even has some interesting uses. In 2006, a study found that Mozart's music makes dogs quiet. And in 2007, another study found that you get more milk from cows that listen to Mozart. Maybe we should all listen to Mozart.